How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL video in the preseason. And today we're going to be continuing our team watch journey. And up next is Leeds. We're going to be going through all the different teams in the Premier League, all 20 of them, and doing a video each and checking out which FPL options they have, which are good, which ones I'm not too keen on, or something needs to change in order for them to be a viable option, and also what they're doing in the transfer market, which could shake up their current roster or could become future FPL assets. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new or haven't done so already, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. It greatly helps out the channel, so we want to help progress that. Also, give us a follow over on Twitter and check in the bio as well so that you can get the new FPL League code. And I've also been retweeting any transfer news and that sort of stuff that I see come up on my feed as well. And make sure to give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can check out the streams when they go live for our preview and deadline streams. We'll be starting back up the week of the start of game week 1. So we'll have a preview stream on the Monday, a deadline stream on the Thursday, and then the game week kicks off on the Friday as well. It's a Friday kickoff, so yeah, make sure to pay attention to that, because sometimes they've been doing that the past few seasons. Not sure why, but I think it's quite interesting nonetheless. So without further ado, let's talk about Fantasy Football Scout. We have partnered up with Fantasy Football Scout for this coming Fantasy Premier League season, and they're giving you an exclusive offer. Use the link down in the description to get 20% off your Fantasy Football Scout membership. It gives you access to the exclusive members area, which has new tools such as the 3-player comparison tool, as well as some old favorites such as the Rate My Team tool, the Season Ticker, and my personal favorite, the fully customizable stats tables, which you can share among other Fantasy Football Scout members, powered by Opta Stats. Use the link down in the description below to get 20% off your membership today. Sign up now. So we're going to start off with Leeds' better players that I'm definitely going to be interested in going into the new season. There's only one caveat though. Their fixtures off the start aren't great. Man United away, Everton at home, Liverpool at home in the first 4 fixtures, although they get significantly better after that. They also have Burnley away kind of sandwiched in there at game week 3 as well. However, I think that there are players in there that can provide fantastic value. I think for price point, Jack Harrison last season, who was on loan from Man City, who's also renewed himself for Leeds and signed on a permanent deal. We'll talk about more of that later on in the transfer section. He was the highest scoring player for his value in terms of points per million or whatever the calculation was. He was at the top of the pecking order for all attackers. We also have the likes of Rafinha, who I think is coming in at least 1 million cheaper than what he probably should be. Maybe it's due to the fact that he didn't play a full season. But I mean, look at the guy's stats over the last 4 matches that he played. 9 chances created, 3 shots inside the box. Didn't have any big chances, but he's on every set piece known to man. And I remember one game distinctly where he created 4 or 5 big chances in the game himself and didn't get an assist, which was insane. Or only got 1 assist or something like that. Could have had an absolute monster haul. But 6 million, 6.5 million, these budget midfielders, I think for Leeds are always going to attack. Against any team, Leeds are going to try to score, and they will score in pretty much every game. I mean, it shows the number of shots inside the box, 353. That's more than the likes of Everton, Aston Villa, teams that should or probably would think would be a better team than them with their players as well. Because Leeds don't really have any standout players. A lot of their players have come from the Championship or have been on loan from other clubs. Rafinha is probably the one top quality player that's come in, and they're looking to obviously make changes to that in the transfer market as well. But Leeds definitely score a lot. They also create a lot. It's just a matter of, can they score more? So Bamford was obviously criticized for his lack of being able to put the ball in the back of the net. Harrison missed a few. Rafinha's often missed a few. They do have some finishing issues, but they create so many chances that I don't think it really matters too much. In terms of defense, Ayling at right back at 4.5 million looks to be the one who underperformed, stats-wise last season. He only had 1 shot in the box in the last 4 matches that he played, but often creates a lot of chances. Had a goal ruled out for offside by a VAR, or was a foul or something like that. where he did his celebration where he takes off his headband and starts playing the guitar like he's a rock star here. It's a pretty cool celebration. So we want to see that next season, especially considering he's 4.5 million. I think based on his stats last season, he was expected to have scored 2 goals and get 2 assists, something along those lines, and he didn't get any. So Dallas was obviously overperforming him in that regard. But him being 4.5 million, I think we're going to see a lot more from him this season, and often flying up and down that right hand side. And now that he has Rafinha in front of him on a full-time basis, that could be very interesting to see. But in terms of Leeds' scoring potential, you can never write them off. In the Man United game, they had a 6-2, the absolute bloodbath in that one. So you can just still expect some Leeds players to score potentially in that one. Everton at home. Everton defensively weren't great last season, especially when they're at home. This one, they'll obviously be playing at Ellen Road. But we'll have to see kind of how the new manager of Rafa Benitez comes in, because if he starts off on a bad foot, the fans are going to get on him really quickly, because he was a former Liverpool manager, and those two don't like each other, to be honest, when it comes to team rivalries, the Merseyside derby. But I think that Leeds, definitely a lot of value here. Ayling, Harrison, and Rafinha are my 3 players that I'm looking at. Potentially starting with Ayling and rotating him with another defender. Maybe the likes of Tariq Lamptey or a Brighton defender could be quite good, as they rotate quite well throughout the entire season, to whereas they don't play anyone inside of the big 6 if you rotate them properly. I think the worst fixture that they have is like Arsenal or like Villa or something like that, if you rotate them throughout the whole season, which is quite interesting to see. And they're 2 4.5 million defenders, so that could be quite good. And they're both attacking, which is what we want. And Rafinha as well. Rafinha and Harrison are probably one of them is going to be in my team to start the season as well, because I think Leeds, again, they just score so many goals, and there's just much more value there than the likes of Bamford as well. So with that being said, let's take a look at some of the Leeds players that could still do well, but not really interested in too much off the start for this season. Now moving on to the Leeds players that just really might not do it for me this season, depending on their game time and positional changes. So if we look at the likes of Dallas to start off with, he's got a price increase, 5.5 million, so he's 1 million more expensive than Luke Ayling. But that's not really the kicker. He's now a midfielder. So if Dallas is playing in at left back and is positioned as a midfielder, he's not going to get those clean sheet points like he did last season. He's also not going to be as involved in the attack if he's playing in at left back. So we'll have to see kind of where he positions himself. Now, the 5.5 million midfielder playing as like one of those 2 number 8s, I could definitely get on board with that. That's probably a reasonable price for him. I mean, 1 big chance created, or 1 big chance for himself, 4 chances created, 4 shots inside the box, 1.18 XGI. That's not too bad for the last 4 matches for a 5.5 million midfielder. That's probably about what you would expect. In terms of the forwards, Rodrigo and Bamford. Rodrigo is a fantastic price. I do like his price at 6.5 million. 4 big chances, 7 chances created, 4 shots inside the box. Those are very, very good numbers for a 4-match span with 2.47 expected goal involvement. It's just a matter of, is he going to start? If he was going to start game in, game out, I think Rodrigo would be a very good budget asset up front. And especially with the amount of goals that Leeds can potentially score, or what the stats would show. He's very good at finishing, whereas Bamford, not too much, although they do have similar stats in terms of their big chances and whatnot. But I think if Rodrigo's starting, so Leeds typically play a 4-1-4-1. If one of those 2 more central midfield roles, so Calvin Phillips will play the 1 in front of the back line, Bamford will play the 1 up top, and then there's 2 midfielders across the 4 that are more central. One of those is probably going to be maybe Dallas, and the other one is probably going to be Rodrigo. So we'll have to kind of see how that balances out on that front. And speaking of Patrick Bamford, 8 million is his price tag this season. I think that's a little bit on the expensive side. Would have liked to see him come in alongside Watkins at 7.5 million. I just think with their start, I just don't think I can justify paying 8 million for Patrick Bamford. He is probably still going to be on penalties though. I just think Rafinha for 1.5 million cheaper, who creates basically everything, is on every set piece. Ayling at 4.5 million is, in my opinion, the only real defensive option. I mean, Firpo from Barcelona, or Junior Firpo, I think is how you pronounce his name, is someone who's come in, but he's 5 million. We'll talk about him in the next segment. I just think that maybe Bamford's just a bit too expensive. I do like Rodrigo's price, though. It'd be interesting to see what they do in preseason, or how they kind of shape up. If Rodrigo's going to play alongside Bamford or just in behind him, so maybe they go like 4-1, like 3-1-1 or something like that, or maybe like a flat out 4-3-3. And Rodrigo is playing off one of the wide positions, which would mean the sacrifice of Harrison or Rafinha, and somebody else plays centrally. We'll have to see. But typically, Bielsa's been more of a 4-1-4-1 formation type of guy, and he's going to probably stick to that. So if that means Rodrigo plays in more of the central roles, maybe it means he creates a little bit more too, which could mean that he kind of plays like kind of just in behind or just off of the likes of Bamford. But it could also mean that he has to do more defensive works, which means he could be subbed off early. So we'll have to see kind of how that plays out. But 6.5 million, I'm still a little bit interested in that. It's just, will he play? Bamford probably just slightly too expensive. Going to start off with probably Watkins to start the season, just because he has 3 really good fixtures in a row, and maybe assess Bamford and how he starts. And Dallas, I think if you're looking for a budget midfielder, he's probably alongside the likes of Smith Rowe for me, but it's just, will he be playing at left back? Because if he is playing at left back, then you just have a 5.5 million midfielder that's playing further back, that isn't getting in as involved as he was, and isn't going to be getting the points for the clean sheet that you would for a defender. So with that being said, let's take a look at Leeds transfer activity for this summer transfer window. Now, Leeds' probably best signing that they could have done was re-signing Jack Harrison. He was on loan from Manchester City. You may have noticed that he was in Man City's squad on FPL when the game was actually initially launched, and was set at a price of 6 million, which I think is actually very, very cheap and very, very good for us FPL players. He's made his final move and official move to Leeds as well. He is now there on a permanent deal. It was around £11 million for that transfer. And just as a note, all transfer prices that you see here on this graphic are approximations and are not fully official unless announced by the club. These are just approximations that I've got of transfer marked. But with that being said, Harrison, 11 million, I think you're not going to find a better deal for a wide attacker, or kind of that left-sided attacking midfielder / winger type option. And Leeds getting him back on board for this new season is fantastic for them as well. Another in as well is Junior Firpo from Barcelona. He's come in and he is currently in FPL at 5 million as well. He is going to be playing as more of a attacking left back. I think he could do quite well for them, and I think that he is someone who can be very attacking and very forthright in that front, similar to how Alioski played. Defensively could be a little bit better, but he has come in at a decent price tag. £12.9 million is not, ignorable, as it were, as Barcelona tried to offload players as they're in a financial mess. But I think that he could be quite good. 5 million, I think, for an FPL asset, though, for Leeds defender is a wait and see, as Meslier is also that price as well, their goalkeeper. Another in that is potentially coming in, I think is how you pronounce his name, is Madueke. Madueke, I think is how you pronounce it. But basically, he's another kind of one of these more central or right-sided attacking kind of options as well. Is 19, very young, is coming from the Dutch First Division, and could be interesting and could be coming in for around 16 million euros. That's just rumors at the moment, nothing official there. In terms of the outs, Casilla, who was the backup goalkeeper, who we didn't know if it was either him or Meslier to start last season, who was going to come in, but Meslier was obviously the one that took over. Alioski is somebody who has left on a free transfer and could be going to the likes of Galatasaray, where he's been rumored to do so from Leeds. He also had an okay stint in the Euros as well for North Macedonia. And lastly, Pablo Hernandez, someone a long time specialist for Leeds in terms of the creative number 10 role. Maybe that's why Madueke is coming in for him and maybe playing that like number 10 role, or that creative kind of midfielder in that regard. He is leaving the club as well. He's up in age. I think he's 36 going 37 is Hernandez. So he's had a very good time at Leeds, and hopefully he can find a move potentially to some place else where he doesn't have to necessarily play week in, week out, but can still provide something as well. But that's it for Leeds transfers. Just let me know down in the comments below. I think Harrison could be the best signing of the summer potentially, now that Leeds have him on a full-time basis, and could be quite good for our FPL teams in this coming season. And that is going to do it for our Leeds team watch. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Drop us a follow if you wouldn't mind over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with all and any FPL news. And I've been retweeting a lot of transfer stuff over there as well. Our link for our new league code, the Flames Recruits League, is back up and running. It is in the Twitter bio as well, so make sure to check it out over there. Drop us a follow over on Twitch so that you can see when we go live for our preview and deadline streams, which will be starting back up at the start of August. And make sure to use the link down in the description below for your Fantasy Football Scout membership. You get 20% off. We are an affiliate partner of Fantasy Football Scout, so make sure to use the link in the description below. It helps us, it helps you, and it helps you elevate your FPL game to potentially a new realm that you may not have thought was possible. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.